In this video, I'm going to go through you how to decide what location to choose when you're applying to do the Trainee Probation Officer scheme. So if you're new here, my name is Sarah Edwards. I'm an ex-probation officer and I share videos for you to help you decide what to do after your psychology or criminology degree, and I help you if you're trying to get into probation officer jobs. So as you might be aware, the probation officer application opened up again 13th of September. If you're watching this is 2021. If you're watching this after, go back and see my previous videos for lots of tips and tricks for how you can prepare for the next intake. But on this intake, it tells you exactly how many job locations are available. There's not as many as last time, and they've said on the system that's because they had an overwhelming response. I know a lot of you did apply last time. So there's not as many locations. So what does that mean for you? Let's dive into it. So the locations available, I will list them here, but there are some in East Lincolnshire, Sussex, London, Hertfordshire, Northamptonshire. I can't really comment on those individual offices because I've worked in a couple of areas, but one thing to consider as a general rule when you are choosing location, think about where you currently live. So where are you living? Think about, are you going to be driving to work or getting public transport? So this is how I made my decision. I was living at the time in Northampton. Northampton did not have the PQIP. They didn't have it. So I specifically applied to London, knowing that, well, eventually I will move to London. I was young, I was quite new out of uni, I'd been out of uni 3 years, didn't have any responsibilities. I thought, why not, you know, it's a good time to consider living somewhere different. So consider really your responsibilities. If you haven't got like young children, you know, if you've got a boyfriend or partner, you know, talk with them and consider, okay, how would it be if we were to move? How would it look like if I was to travel? How would that affect your relationship? How would that affect your lifestyle? So I actually travelled over 2 hours from Northampton to London. I had to get from Northampton on a mainline train into central London to go back out again on 2 tubes. That is excessive and it did wear me down, and I only done it for 6 months before I moved closer. So I moved back with my mum while my partner stayed up in Northampton, and we saw each other at weekends. So consider how much you are realistically willing to sacrifice for your career, because you may have to make sacrifices. You might be looking at this list and think, oh, there's nothing near me, I'm not even going to try. Consider your mindset here and think, okay, try. You know, if you really, really want something, consider being a bit more open and consider, well, if I try somewhere, why don't I try and move somewhere else? Obviously, if you are watching this and you're in a similar position to me right now, obviously I've got kids, got family, then you need to consider, okay, is it realistically worth uprooting your whole family for this? Is there any way that you can travel? So maybe in a car, like consider, have a look on Google Maps. This is one thing I didn't look in real time how long it would take me. So go on Google Maps, say if you're typing in Hertfordshire, and see how long it will actually take you in rush hour traffic to get there, so you've got a realistic time. Have a look to see, is there any car parks available? So where I was last working, it was a town centre location, so obviously you're going to have to factor in parking spaces, time to get a parking space, cost of parking. But remember that a lot of this is temporary. It does say on the website that you need to be in that same office 2 years post qualifying, which is a new thing. So in the office that I was in, it was kind of, it wasn't really encouraged or discouraged. It was kind of just, yeah, if you want to change office, now is the chance. So I stayed within London, but I moved to a different London location. So I think it's more if you want to change regions, that they want you to stay in the region. because they've trained you up, they've qualified you, they don't want you to then just go. So really consider all the travel options available, but do not let that put you off as you are applying. So I'll leave the list here again so you can see exactly what locations are taking people in. It doesn't say how many either, but again, don't let that put you off. That's something for them to work out further down the line. You just concentrate on, if this is really something you want to do, get started with the application. And you can have a look at my previous videos because I've got tips for how to do the application.